I'm Tim Jinks. I'm a graduate student here at Drew, and I'm a pitcher on the baseball team. Started playing baseball. I was 4 or 5. Brick Little League, definitely. I mean, I remember watching the Yankees for as long as I can remember. That was kind of like, well, that's what's on in our house. It's baseball, MLB Network, and Yankees baseball. So it was kind of just what I was brought up in. And then when it came time to sign me up for T-ball, it was kind of a no-brainer, and then I just went from there, basically. It was the only sport I was really good at when I was younger. I wasn't an athletic kid. I hated soccer because I didn't like to run. Baseball I kind of just took to. I liked throwing, and I always had a decent arm.
Now, when you got to high school, you were cut from your high school team. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So at the time I was first base and pitcher, and rolled up to high school tryouts freshman year. I think there was like 60 or 70 kids. Tryouts went on for what felt like a month. And he said he was going to keep like 19 kids. There were 3 of us left, called us into the room and just cut all 3 of us at once. It was the most horrendous feeling I'd felt in my life up until that point. But it kind of just made me want to work harder. Like, I was probably pissed for a week and sad, and I was like, screw it. Like, I love baseball. I'm going to play anyway. Played a couple travel ball teams. I was kind of like a gun for hire on travel ball teams. I remember, like, my dad would just get, like, phone calls from, like, friends of friends and just be like, oh, like, we need a pitcher for this travel tournament this weekend. Your son want to throw? Like, he doesn't have to pay. And we'd be like, yeah, sure. And you'd roll up and you'd throw 80 pitches, like 6 innings, and then, that's it for the weekend. First outing my sophomore year, I tore the labrum. I remember pitching at Kane against Alvernia. I gave up a run. I just didn't feel good. And I was like, I didn't really feel myself. Ended up getting an MRI, and they found out I had torn my anterior and posterior labrum. I had tendinosis in my supraspinatus, which is like the main rotator cuff tendon here. I had shearing in the bicep tendon, which was starting to fray. Like, if you imagine a rope, it's kind of starting to come apart. Supposed to be a 3-hour surgery. I think it ended up being a 6-hour surgery. I got 4 kind of bioplastic anchors, 2 here and then 2 back here. Don't know what bioplastic is. I asked them if I was going to go off an airport, and they were like, no, you're fine. And I was like, what's bioplastic? And they kind of like walked around that answer, and I was like, it's probably going to give you cancer in 20 years. And then that summer I went down to Cressy Sports, and they fixed my shoulder. They are the reason that I'm able to throw a baseball without pain. Shane Rye, the guy down there, he found a lot of scar tissue. He said scar tissue was probably compressing a nerve, and he released a bunch of stuff. I remember when he released stuff, like, you hear a crack, and my arm would kind of go, whoa, and then this rush of blood would come down, and it's like, oh, wow. And then within a week, I was throwing with full range of motion. I was able to, like, push myself to throw harder. And by that was the summer of my junior year. Then going into my senior year, by that fall, I was up to, like, 86, which is harder than I was throwing pre-surgery. And then I was able to be a conference starter my senior year. Went back down to Cressy and kept doing shoulder rehab stuff. And it's one of those things that you can't really just, like, it's like, oh, it's fixed now, you kind of have to keep working on it. The minute you stop doing bands or weighted balls or strength training is when it starts to dissipate, because it is a surgically repaired joint. But I was able to get up to 88 that year, and I went back down to Cressy. They helped me again. I'm able to come back here, and now I'm able to throw, upwards of 100 pitches and be able to bounce back. And it was a turnaround from not being able to throw a ball without pain to kind of being able to be a workhorse in the game. Best piece of baseball advice. I've gotten a lot of good ones from Jeff Sarin. He's a bit of a philosopher when it comes to pitching sometimes. I remember this year I was coming in, I still was nervous, like, starting and stuff. And I was still dealing with that, like, anxiety before a game. And he was just like, he's like, dude, what are you doing? I was like, huh? He's like, you didn't play high school ball. You tore your shoulder. Just enjoy throwing a baseball. He goes, you're playing with house money. So you should, like, it's one of those things where it's like, you shouldn't even be here. Why are you trying to, like, prove yourself to people? Just go be you and go throw. And it was like, that was one of those things that clicked for me. It's one of those smaller pieces that, like, doesn't seem like a lot, but it was like, huh. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know why. One of those things that needs to be said, and you're like, I don't know why I didn't think of that. It just seems like, and that was one of those things like a weight lifted off my shoulder. I shouldn't be here anyway, so why the hell am I nervous about it?
My last question for you, Tim, is who are you and when do you feel the most like yourself?
Well, I'm Tim Jinks. I probably feel the most like myself after a baseball game, after a win. Coming back to the room with guys and you're kind of talking about the baseball game and not even like, oh, you won and it's like, yeah, we beat these guys. It's more of like looking at guys you played with and it was, like, oh, dude, that was sick what you did. You fooling around with guys. Like, that's probably it after a baseball game.